This video is for all of you out there that say you're grown, that claim that you are grown, that say that you are an independent adult, that say that you have complete control, so you say, over your life. Say that you know what time it is as it relates to the issues of life, I call it. This video is for you. How independent are you? That's more than just getting up and going to a job every day. That's more than just paying rent to live in a home, an apartment, or what have you. That's more than just having the responsibility of paying certain bills and obligations. We know that that's independent to some degree. But are you independent when it comes to you? I said it right, you. This could potentially be the Brother Teacher Raw video, but I'm trying to get you to think today. I've said it, I've alluded to it, I've inferred it, I've mentioned it so many times that you must control your own life and no one else. This is me. This is Reginald, commonly, affectionately known as Brother Teacher, Sensei, Shifu, Grandmaster, Teacher, whatever. But this is Reginald that resides in this body. And you that are watching me right now, put your hand in front of your face and blow. Touch it. That's you. Stop allowing other people to define you. Stop allowing other people to tell you about you when you know more about you than they do. When you go to the doctor, and that individual that you meet for the first time, wearing that white uniform, that lab coat, with that badge that says Dr. So-and-so, male or female, that has that certificate on the wall behind their desk, that you've never met before. When you go there for some issue, a checkup or what have you, understand this at first. I have the utmost respect for the medical industry. But there's a catch. Only when it comes to emergency medical am I more concerned about at this stage in my life. As far as my daily life activities go, that's on me. And it should be on you as well. I don't need, me personally, I don't need to be managed by a doctor for all of my natural life or the rest of my natural life, unless I have some debilitating condition, some condition where I cannot function at all and I need assistance on some level. That's the only time. And you should be the same way. How is it that you walk into an office for a medical examination, maybe even a suggested procedure, and this person, this individual that's a doctor, prescribes medicine or surgery, and you buy into it? You buy into it. Okay. How much do they know about you whom they've just met for the first time? But don't forget, it's not just you. There's several of you. There's hundreds of you that they deal with from day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year. Hundreds of you. How do you control all of those people? How do you manage all of those people? A medical chart. Here we go. A medical chart. Okay? But do they really know you? The inward working of your body specifically. I mean, none of us have the same fingerprints, do we? None of us have the exact same DNA, do we? We're not the same. Just based on that. All of us don't have the same blood type. We don't have the same exact chemistry. None of us. So how is it that this doctor could know that this medication that they're prescribing me is going to work for the next person, and the next person exactly the same? It's not, and they can't determine that. Not just meeting us, right? We would sort of have to have an intimate relationship, or a real intimate relationship, over a period, maybe an extended period of time, for them to get to know me. But guess what? They don't have time for that, do they? Because there's so many of us to deal with. So they could make a mistake, an error in prescribing you something. Could give you too much of a dosage. Could give you not enough. Could give you the wrong thing. Could give you nothing when you need something. How do they know, and how do you know that they know more about this than you do? Be your own doctor. Be your own physician on the fundamental level. I'm not saying you have to go to medical school, but there's some basic things that you should know that I guarantee you most of us don't even know. As I'm sitting here speaking to you right now on this platform, I've asked my own students, children and adults, and people that are not my students, that are associates, friends, and just even strangers, how many ribs do you have? Do you know there's people walking around saying that we have 11 ribs because the Bible said that God took one of Adam's ribs? We have 11 ribs. Now, I'm not talking about 11 ribs on both sides, just 11 ribs, period. How in the world could you be a grown adult and not know how many ribs you have in your body? I mean, you're walking around carrying it. You have 24 ribs, ladies and gentlemen. 12 on both sides. And there's some that thought we only had 12. And some adult told me that we had 10. And some have said that they didn't know. It's your body. Hello? You have floating ribs, and they sit on the bottom of your other ribs. Your upper ribs, and I'm not going to go into real detail, but your upper ribs are attached to your sternum, which is your breastplate. That's basic. And the rest of them come from your spine to the front, and they're floating, are false ribs. Hello? You didn't know that. You don't know how many bones you have in your body. You don't. You don't know that your diaphragm is responsible for your breathing. It's the main organ that's responsible for your breathing. And did you not also know that you take in more oxygen when you breathe diaphragmically than you do thoracically? Didn't even know what thoracic meant. Chest. You're taught that in school and as a child, but it's incorrect breathing. Ever see a newborn baby or a small child breathing through their belly? That's diaphragmic breathing. That's the proper breathing. Did you not know that? Did you not know that you have 5 pints of blood in the average human body? A lot of people don't even know their blood type. Grown folks, 30, 40, 50, 60 years old. Oh, I don't know. Or I forgot. You don't know your own blood type? I could tell you mine. I don't think it would benefit you knowing my blood type just by virtue of this video. But I know my blood type. I know my blood type before I went into the military, and when I was in the military, and as a young adult, going to doctor's appointments. I remember that. Why would I forget my blood type? What if there were an emergency? What if one of my children or my grandchildren needed my blood type and I didn't know it? So somebody's going to have to stick a needle in me and draw some blood to figure out what my blood type is. No, I can tell you what it is. I can. I can tell you the proper way to sleep in a bed and the improper way to sleep. I can tell you about the circadian rhythm, which we all utilize or should utilize in our lives every single day. Did you not know that it's better to sleep naked? That's basic. There's a reason why. Did you not know that it's better to walk on the earth? And I'm not talking about the concrete. It's better to walk on the earth, the dirt, the soil, because we connect with it. Yes, we do. We were not intended to walk on concrete because it hurts your joints. It breaks down your posture. It causes knee, ankle problems over a period of time, sustained. It does. You don't know that? You don't know that you don't have to eat 3 meals a day? Come on, brother teacher. Oh, somebody told me. Are you not your own doctor? Do you not take care of this temple that belongs to you? Or do you need somebody else to tell you that? Did you not know that the stuff that we call money, that paper stuff, it's not money at all? It's not. You know why? It's temporary. Here we go. This right here, that's just paper. We say paper, but some of us don't even know that it's actually linen and cotton. But we call it paper money. Maybe once upon a time it was paper, but it's linen and cotton. You didn't know that. Basic thing, but you need somebody to tell you that? Real money is silver and gold. It's been here since the beginning of the earth, and you cannot get rid of it. You didn't know that? You need somebody to tell you that as well? Some people say, well, I went to school and they told me that. They don't tell you everything. They didn't tell you in school when you was growing up, elementary school, junior high school, how to be independent as far as an entrepreneur is concerned. Did they tell you about being an entrepreneur and raising your own money and building your own business and your own future? Or did they teach you how to work for somebody else? A 9 to 5 or 11 to 7. Did they teach you that? Did they teach you? Did they teach you? What have you taught yourself? What have you been consciously aware of and consciously actively aware of, my friends? Is everybody telling you something to do and you're not using your own thoughts, your own thought process, your own critical thinking? Is somebody telling you what to believe in as it relates to God? Do you believe it because somebody just simply told you, or just because grandma did it and mama did it and that's what the family did? Stop losing your independence and your sense of being an individual. It's the only thing that you have. It is. It's you. Let me tell you something. Something that I've been experiencing for a while now. The older generation that came up in the 40s and the 50s and the 60s and the 70s, who believe that this generation and the generation before, the millennials, Generation X and so forth, should dance to their tune. Now, I believe in the old school because I came old school. Old school is the foundation upon which everything is built. It is. I believe in that. But there's the people walking around, some older folks nowadays think you're supposed to give them more respect than they deserve just because that's the era that they came from. Oh, I don't like the way they talk to me. How did they talk to you? Did they call your name? Nope. Did they call you out of your name? Nope. Did they raise their voice at you? No. They didn't follow the advice that I gave them. They're not supposed to. Just because you give somebody advice, older people, those of you who are in your 70s and 80s and 90s even, just because you give someone advice, even your own family, it's just advice. It's just advice. Somehow or another, there's some of these older folks, older generation, walking around with their feelings on their sleeve, carrying them all the time, thinking that people are supposed to jump just because they're older, just because they were here for many years longer than them. Who told you that? You are delusional. You're living in a fantasy. This is a different world. This is not the 1940s or the 50s or the 60s or the 70s anymore. We're in the 2022. That's where we are. So you better pull your big girl panties up, your big boy britches. This is the world that we live in today, and this is reality. And there's a lot of the older generation that are not into the new technology. It's going to pass you by. You're going to get behind, and then they get frustrated because they can't figure out a cell phone. You know why? Apply yourself. Just had somebody today that was asking me to test out a headphone. I said, why didn't you do it? The instructions are right here. I didn't want to read it. You know what I'm saying? And I am not kidding you. This is a true story. I didn't want to read it. Could it be that he doesn't read and comprehend very well at all? No one is responsible for you but you. No one is responsible for you but you. We are supposed to help those that are in need of help. But there are those who are stuck in their ways and will not assert themselves when they should, even when they get well up into age. And that's a sin. That's criminal. That's wrong. That's selfish. No one should be doing for you what you should be doing for yourself. I don't need a doctor to tell me about nutrition. I don't. Do you need a doctor to tell you about nutrition? Do you need a doctor to tell you to stop smoking cigarettes? It's common knowledge. It's common sense. It's on the package that it causes cancer. It's on the package that you shouldn't smoke when you're pregnant? It's on the package that if you're nursing a baby, so why in the world do you do it? And then when something goes wrong, my doctor, your doctor, what about you? What about your independence and your individuality? Start running your own life. And the same thing is true with money. You're complaining about money because you don't have enough money. They don't pay me enough on my job. They don't pay me what I'm worth. Maybe you're not worth much at all. Maybe that's the reason. Maybe you're not. If you think you're worth that much, then start your own business. Start your own thing. Create your own music. Do it. And stop pointing your finger to everybody outside of you and saying that it's their fault. And so-and-so didn't do that. And so-and-so got promoted on the job. But you outside smoking a joint on the job that you're at. True story. I see this on a regular basis at a couple places around where I work at. Outside smoking drugs on your break. A national company outside smoking drugs. But you want to be a manager. A manager of what? You're not managing your life very well at all, brother, girlfriend. You're not. So are you ready to be independent? Or do you need somebody else? You need somebody else to push you, kick you in the behind, get you started, kick started. What are you doing today to help yourself? This whole message is to get you to think. This particular one, and it won't be the last one, and it's definitely not the first one, but it's to get you to think. Your life belongs to you. It's yours. And that's more than just on the surface of what I just said. It goes deeper. How much sacrifice are you willing to make to be the best version of you that you can possibly be? Without all of the embellishments and without all of the fake stuff. Are you being real to yourself or with yourself? Are you really? I'm independent. Let me tell you something. It does not come without a price or a cost. It hurts being independent. But the end result is going to be beautiful, and it will be beautiful for you after you survive all of the trials and all of the tests, because it's going to make sure that you have the proper character. That's what it's going to do. If anything is handed to you, if everything is done for you, you'll never, never appreciate it. You won't. You'll be worthless. You follow what I'm saying? And I'm saying that to you all who have children, to stop giving your children everything. Let them fall down. Let them make mistakes. Let them bump their heads. That's how they learn. That's true. Now I won't go there anymore. I won't do that anymore. But when you keep handing to them, let me tell you something. If you keep saying, here baby, take that $1. Oh, I know it's hard. I know you're struggling. Here, take that $1. Here son, take that. I know it's hard. Boom. Guess what? When the gravy train ceases, when it stops and you're no longer there, they end up becoming a criminal. You know why? Because they don't have you feeding them anymore. They don't have you making it easy for them anymore. Be independent. Be your own person. And don't let the people outside of you, don't let the industries, the corporations, don't let all of these other entities run your life. I've said this before. And this is the problem with a lot of us and a lot of people that are watching this. This is the problem that a lot of us have. And I say that collectively, but I don't really mean me, because I would hope that I've graduated from this way of thinking, this mentality and mindset of letting someone else run me. You know, we come into this world by ourselves, out of our mother's womb. We are responsible at some point for ourselves and not somebody else. There has to come a time when we grow up and we face the fact that we are independent, or should be independent, and we are a man or a woman, and that's it. Now, I believe in the village mentality, that people should be together and bind together and unite when it's necessary. But for somebody holding your hand throughout your entire life, unless something's wrong with you medically, mentally, that's absurd. When you have the capacity to build, the capacity to create, capacity to provide for yourself, then you should be doing that as an individual. Anything else is some kind of charity that you're searching for, or some kind of welfare that you're searching for. You want to make excuses for not doing things that you should be doing yourself. No one, and I'm saying it again, except for medical emergency, we should be maintaining this temple by ourselves. If you have cancer, it's probably because you smoke, or you take drugs, or you eat the wrong foods, you have a piss poor diet. If you have relationship problems, it's probably because you picked the wrong mate, or the wrong several mates and individuals to sleep with, or what have you. But it's your fault. It's your problem. This is yours. Stop pointing the finger at everybody else, even when they have their own faults and flaws. It takes two people in a relationship, not just one. You didn't get in that relationship by yourself. It was you and that other individual, or several other individuals. Start taking responsibility for you, because it's you that's responsible for you. I'm sorry, this may not be what you like, what you love, what you care to hear, but that's your problem. It doesn't mean that it's not the truth. Some of us really just simply need to grow up. So listen, even when it comes to church, some religious affiliation and so forth, I'm not going to believe 100% that person standing at the pulpit or the lectern or whatever, saying God said this and God said that. Did you check behind that individual? Be sure. Be very sure for yourself. Stop following people so you can avoid being responsible yourself. I remember one time, I was in church years ago. I was teaching a Bible class, and I was reading something. I forget the passage. And someone said that was in the class, "Don't tell me anymore. I don't want to be responsible for knowing that." That cut right through me. And I knew instantly that that person was a failure. Not just there, but in every aspect of their lives. Stop running away from life and grasp it. Accept it for what it is, and be what God the Creator intended for all of us to be. That is independent, your own person. I went to court some years ago, and I stood for myself without a lawyer. Most people, they are assigned a lawyer. You know, we're going to give you a public defender or somebody to represent you. How can some man or woman represent you when you know more about you than they do? I'm meeting you for the first time, and you're going to plead my cause or my case? You? But you don't know me. But I know me. So I'm going to stand on my square. I'm going to stand firmly on the ground with my back straight, and I'm going to study the system so that I know as much as you do, at least on a fundamental level. I'm not going to let you walk over me. And do you know what? I walked out of court. I didn't pay 1 cent. This is a true story. I did not pay 1 penny. No court cost, no nothing. Period. Standing on my own as an independent man. And to beat all, as an independent black man. That was it, and that was all. But before I conclude, be who you are. Stand on your own principles, and stop allowing other people to dictate what you say, what you believe, and what you stand on. Stand on your own. I'm out.